Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. Today we're going to start off with halfway towards mass adoption, new Ripple Flywheel report says. As we go down into the article, the Ripple blockchain report for 2019 has officially released with reams of positive data and customer feedback regarding XRP and RippleNet. The biggest takeaway for us was an infographic showing Ripple is at the halfway point between where they were at the beginning and full global mass adoption. Digital banks and the next wave of blockchain adopters are relatively less concerned compared to traditional providers and late adopters, not surprisingly. The next wave of adopters, those nearing implementation, are less concerned about regulation than the late adopters, those in conversation. Similarly, digital banks that have already transformed the bank model are less concerned than traditional retail banks. I'm not going to go completely into this article, just wanted to touch up with that. As many of you XRP investors know and impatiently wait, we know that it's out there. We're ready for them to flip the switch. 20 of the world's major banks will incorporate XRP for international money transactions in 2019. The reason I put that behind the last article is so we can see how far they've come since the beginning of the year. As we know, many of the central banks and most of the world banks are somehow connected to XRP and Ripple already currently. China's central bank likely to pilot digital currency in cities of Shenzhen and Suzhou report. The People's Bank of China is said to be preparing to launch pilots for its digital currency in at least 2 major cities. As reported by Chinese financial news source Beijing on Monday, the central bank is expected to launch the test of the fully digital yuan in Shenzhen and Suzhou. Other places may also see trials. These tests are likely to include the participation of state-owned partners. These comprise the big 4 commercial banks, the Industrial Commercial Bank of China, China Construction Bank, and the Agricultural Bank of China, and 3 telcos, China Telecom, China Mobile, and China Unicom. The pilots will see the digital currency, dubbed Digital Currency Electronic Payment, the DCEP, applied in real-world scenarios such as transportation, education, and healthcare. Beijing says partner banks will be able to design their own trial scenarios for DCEP. The first of 2 pilot phases will be smaller scale and start at the end of 2019. The second, later in 2020, will be a large-scale effort in Shenzhen, according to the report. If all goes well, a full launch of DCEP is expected soon after the pilots. The central bank has been hastening its efforts to develop DCEP, in part due to the announcement of the Facebook-led Libra project in June. Libra would most likely be a stablecoin pegged to a basket of fiat currencies and government bonds, although other options may be on the table. According to Beijing, DCEP would have some similarities to Libra, though the technical details are not spelled out. The report cites a PBOC official as having said that the digital currency is designed to replace physical cash in circulation, MON banking terminology, and will meet the needs of portability and anonymity. And in the Trump tour to all of the Asian nations, China, Korea, Japan, we know that in the trade deals, we do know that there is Ripple connection and an XRP connection to those, but I've felt that with the Chinese or the China and US trade deal, I think time will tell, but I still believe because of all of the connections that on the US part, there is an XRP connection, but on the China department, I feel that there is a strong V-chain connection. Knowing all of the partners that are in VeChain China, I believe they're going to start making those available into the North America, and I'm very confident that that's part of what the digital trade deal will include. Next article, the U.S. not keen to follow in China's footsteps with its own digital dollar. Leading up from my conversation, regulators today understand that they play a significant role in developing and supporting the digital economy in their countries. One of the critical items on their agenda, digital currency. China has been toying with the idea of launching its own digital yuan for a while now, including providing anonymity to those that demand it, much like other cryptocurrency options in the market. We know the demand from the general public is to keep anonymity by using paper, money, and coins. We will give those people who demanded anonymity in their transactions. People's Bank of China head of Digital Currency Research Institute, Mu Chengchun, told media recently. Interestingly, the U.S. isn't interested in following in China's footsteps or racing ahead to launch its own digital dollar first. Instead, U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell recently said that they're not keen on issuing a digital dollar. Chair Powell and I have discussed this at length. We both agree that in the near future, in the next 5 years, we see no need for the U.S. Federal Reserve to issue a digital currency, said Mnuchin. The comment came in light of queries raised by lawmakers and industry participants on the back of Facebook experimenting with its global digital currency project, dubbed Libra. The social media giant's digital currency has met with hurdles since its initial announcement, although Mnuchin and Powell both seem to have no issues with its launch, provided it complied with the law. I'm fine if Facebook wants to get into digital payments, and that may be good for their customer base, and good for a lot of Americans who don't have access to banks. We want to make sure that if they do, they're doing it in a way that is fully compliant with our BSA, AML, and that in no way can this be used for terrorist financing, Mnuchin said. The decision to steer clear of the digital dollar for now is a result of extensive studies conducted by the U.S. Federal Reserve. We have not identified potential material benefits of a general purpose central bank digital currency, also known as CBDC, to the implementation of monetary policy relative to our existing tools, Powell said recently. Sorry for the phone call there. The need of the hour, a real-time payment and settlement system instead of diverting resources to pursuing a digital dollar. Mnuchin and Powell are working on developing an instant round-the-clock real-time payment and settlement system that can be launched in 2023 or 2024. But we did recently display an article that basically said that would probably happen before 2021. The new Interbank 24/7 by 365 real-time gross settlement RTGS service with integrated clearing functionality is a project that has been christened FedNow. When available, FedNow will enable financial institutions to deliver faster end-to-end payment services to their customers, making it possible to send and receive payments anytime, any day, anywhere, and have full access to funds within seconds. And who was it that worked with the faster payments division? None other but Ripple. Everyone deserves the same ability to make and receive payments immediately and securely, and every bank deserves the same opportunity to offer that service to its community, said Federal Reserve Board Governor Lael Brainerd. FedNow will permit banks of every size and every community across the country to provide real-time payments to their customers. What the U.S. is doing is similar to projects that other financial hubs in developed markets are pursuing, including in Singapore and Hong Kong. What we're going to try to do here is start explaining, I said, a little bit more clearly. Up until now, we've pretty much provided you with the information that explains on why XRP will be a success. As you know, we have a second favorite here, which is VeChain. But staying on the subject of XRP, after this video, we'll start making everything a little bit more clear since for us it's a little more obvious, but I guess for the new people listening, we'll do a little more connecting and explaining for them, and I will redo my China video from a few weeks ago, and I'll separate it and single it out, as a lot of people may have missed it or not understood how powerful and explosive that is for XRP. We hope that you're having a great day, and we will catch you in the next one.